Good evening, everybody. I'm Carla Christopher, and you are watching Culture in Maine, York's weekly cultural showcase here on WRCT, airing throughout York and Adams County here on Channel 18. Want to give a quick shout out and huge thanks to our fabulous artists in residence. We have painter Lovey Price of the Glass Vidalia and photographer John Stump of JS Photography and Fine Arts. They definitely make our set look better, and their artwork is amazing. So make sure you go find them on Facebook or on the web and check them out. Now, for this episode, we have an incredible array of lots of action-packed stuff going on. So we're going to go to a beautiful York City park, Kiwanis Lake, where there was a great Labor Day concert featuring the R.P.M band. Fabulous funk, R&B, and soul. I think you're really going to like these guys. Then we also have a fabulous artist who specializes in performance art installation using video, photography, and social media to create fine art. Joaquin Guzman, he's definitely one to watch for. We also have some awesome videos by our videography consultant of the York Dispatch, Randy Flaum. He's going to teach us all about the Hope Street Garden, which a great local artist named Annalise has started, and also give us a sneak peek on the hair of the musical Grease, which will be airing shortly at York Little Theater. We also have a very special goodbye video from a local band called the Wayfarer Experiment. Their lead singer Bjorn is headed off to grounds elsewhere, but we caught their very final York appearance. Got some great interviews, we're going to misuse from the audience, so check out the Wayfarer, and we wish them well on their journey. And we also have a very special visit from York City's Hispanic Heritage Month advocate, the Latino Affairs Coordinator, Nate Rivera. Now, Nate is going to talk to us about some of the cultural things going on here in the city with our Latino community and where you can go to absolutely get the best Puerto Rican food. So, stay tuned and enjoy the show.
Culture in Maine.
It is a place where the truth should be kept.
The arts and music scene really shows what people are about.
Share what's going on here in York.
Makes you feel like a family.
Local art has a face that most people can relate to.
Our community up here that sticks together.
Art is art.
Great potential, great artists, poets, singers, writers, directors, filmmakers. It's fantastic. Everyone has a story to tell.
That moment, you have to capture that moment and share it with the rest of the world.
Showing something that maybe has not been seen before.
Without art, that's just like
I am art. I've been art ever since I was born.
It really adds a great deal to our community.
you don't really need art to exist, but you need art to live.
Culture in Maine is important, and I think playing out is important, and playing open mics and playing wherever you can play. It's all about us all checking in with each other.
All my old school in the house tonight. Somebody say old school. They used to do a dance something like this. They used to rock. Come on, we're gonna rock. Come on. Old school used to rock it like this, y'all. What I'm feeling now. Let's call this song exactly what it is. Step and move your hips and will it from side to side. Set yourself down in your car and take a ride. While you're moving rock steady, baby. Let's call this song exactly what it is. It's a funky low down feeling. Move your hips from side to side. What it is, it might be doing. Chris funky dance on the rock steady, baby. Rock steady, baby. Rock steady. Rock steady. Come on. Move your hips when they flip from side Hey, this party's jumping, everybody's having a good time. But you know what's going through my mind. Do you mind if I get comfortable? Kick off these shoes. While you're fixing me a drink, play me some of them down home blues. She says, you know I don't get out much all the time, and you know that I didn't cut out a lot of that running around all week long. I've been keeping my cool, but tonight I'm gonna let my head down and party on them down home blues. Y'all help me sing this song. Come on. Down home blues. Down home blues. All she wanted to hear was those down home blues all night long. Every record or two. Say tonight I'm gonna let my head down and party on them down home blues. Let me have some bluesy guitar. Bluesy guitar, come on. Tonight I'm gonna let my head down and party on them down home blues. How about a little bit of keyboards? Come on. Tonight I'm gonna let my head down and party on them down home blues. Let's go in the basement. Let's go in the basement with some bass. Come on. Yeah. That's right, y'all. All right. Swing it, swing it, swing it, swing it, swing it. Come on, come on, come on. But tonight I'm gonna let my head down and party on them down home blues. Y'all help me sing the song. Come on. Down home blues. Down home blues. All she wanted to hear was those down, 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 down. Oh, down home blues all night long. But tonight I'm gonna let my head and party off them. I'm gonna party off some collard greens, neck bones, ham hocks, fried okra, macaroni and cheese, banana pudding, down home blues.
Alien is about those who live in the shadows, those who don't have a voice and often don't have a face. And I want to show that face and to give them a voice. And I want that voice to replicate among everybody who comes and takes that out. it's about immigration, and it's about those who we don't often see when we make decisions about these issues. So hopefully people can come and listen about it.
Now, how did you get the idea for the exhibit with how you put it together using the videos and the interactive components? Where did you get all those ideas from?
Those ideas came from, well, the initial event was called What Does It Mean to Be a Problem in or Contemporary Society? And for me, personally, I'm a Latino, I'm an immigrant, and I'm an alien myself. So the idea came from that, from being an alien myself and trying to look beyond myself into my surroundings. So I wanted to, as I said, show those who we do not often see, the aliens like me who don't have a voice, who don't have papers, who don't have anything, who are hiding and are afraid. So.
Was it difficult for you to get people to talk to you, or were you scared yourself to tell this story? Because you are talking about people that are in the country that maybe did not come here through traditional means or that came here illegally. Was it hard getting people to talk?
It was. All the videos that I'm gonna show and the photographs were taken on my last birthday, my 25th birthday. I only had 1 week to get it all together. So I went out with a person from an agency, a local agency, and we knocked doors. Her knowledge of the community was tremendous because she was able to take me into the houses and present me to them. And after that, we had to talk a little bit, but it was very hard to get them to talk. And you can see that in the videos also. You can see that fear of where is this gonna go and what is gonna happen to me, so.
And what made you want to present this exhibit again and keep putting it out there? Do you feel like the message is something that still needs to keep being said? What do you hope changes because of this exhibit?
This exhibit is different from the first one because we have a separate element, and that is that we are getting involved with the people who make decisions. By that I mean Mayor Bracy and other authorities in the city. So it's taking the message is getting to a wider audience and to those who really have to listen to it. So I'm very happy for that.
Now, Joaquin Guzman was Mayor Bracy's featured artist for Hispanic Heritage Month, and he did a great installation exhibit called Alien at York Arts, a one-night-only special event that you may have seen the promo for here on WRCT. There's a lot more to him than just one exhibit, though. So we had to bring him back to share a little bit more of his artwork and his story. So now tell us, for the people that didn't get to see Alien, Alien was an interactive, really three-dimensional exhibit. So for someone that hadn't gotten to see Alien, how would you describe it to them?
I will describe it as a confrontational exhibition.
Ooh, I like that, a confrontational exhibition.
Because it confronts the message of what I want to bring to the people who make decisions about this message. It's about immigration, yes, but it's about people in the shadows. And it's bringing those people, those who are in the shadows, back into the light. And then those who are in the light are supposed to judge them or make opinions about them. So it's about that.
So now, you conceived Alien as an exhibit when you were at Millersville. And you were studying art, but you also do all different types of photography, but a lot of it's very artistic and different types of message photography, I would say. That's one thing that I noticed in a lot of your work. It's never just, this is a pretty photograph. It's something that's going to be shocking or confrontational. Where did that come from? Is that something you do on purpose, or that's just what catches your attention?
Yeah, my photographs are usually documentation of my performances, and then there is some other that accompany my performance, because where I feel more comfortable is on video and performance. I find it as a way to give free rein to the spirit or to myself to create something, and that's where I think every artist is precious, because it's a way of release, of putting something out there. And the camera in a performance, or the public that are watching something that you're doing, give you power. And I like that power. So sometimes I do the performance of myself, dancing or doing a repetitive action over and over. Or sometimes I do it like it happened in Alien, or somebody else, and give the power to them. So.
Ooh, I love that. So now, how did you discover that the way that you wanted to communicate with people was through performing? Were you always, just from when you were a little kid, always performing?
No. I used to paint a lot. I write a lot of poetry. So, I was more traditional. But coming from Cuba to the United States in 2007 changed my whole worldview. All of a sudden, I was free in every sense of the word you can give. Whatever freedom means, I had it. And with that freedom came the possibility of doing things that were unknown to me, and everything just opened. So I was able to do video, and then what can I do with video? Well, I can take it out of the camera and show it to people and do this action in front of people. So from that experience of being released from this place where I was to being completely free and given free rein to my imagination.
So how did you end up going from Cuba to Lancaster and now York, Pennsylvania? That's a pretty incredible journey to have made, and you didn't have a conventional path that you followed from getting there.
No, my family came here. They all live in New Jersey, but I met my partner about a year after I got here, moved to New Jersey with my family. We got reunited, and then I met my partner online, and we have been together now for almost 7 years. So that's why I'm in New York. Yes.
So now, in creating art here in Pennsylvania, now we have more of a reputation for being traditional. And we are slowly becoming very progressive and edgy and welcoming more underground art forms. But have you found that it took people a minute to understand what you were doing? Or have people been so hungry for the adventure of art that they have loved it from the very beginning?
It takes more than a minute. I think it takes longer than that. And I can see it also in the galleries when I take something. They can be reluctant to show it or to present it because it's not something that you can put a price on it sometimes. It's hard. And we live in a commercialized world, in a commercialized society. So I don't make something that you can touch and say, oh, I can have this at my house. My art, I conceive it as something that's transformative, both for me and for those who watch it. And sometimes that's not easy to achieve through, at least for me, a painting or a poem. But it has to be something that must be experienced at the moment. So.
Aliens was born out of my own experience as an immigrant, as an alien myself, of my struggle to fit in a culture other than my own. I'm sure I could come up with a million stories derived from my own experience, but this time it had to be about those who are less lucky than me. I intend to create a space for personal reflection and challenge, a place where preconceived notions of an immigrant, illegal or alien are questioned by presenting the most human aspect of such problem. If there is anything at all I want from this exhibition is that open space. As the holiday season starts with Thanksgiving, I invite you to think critically about those aliens who silently work so we can have our feast. And as you eat these or other apples, think about the individuals and the families behind each one of them.
I love gardening, I love farming, I love reclaiming areas back into a more usable, people-friendly, community-friendly condition. I hear people were fearful of approaching it because they just did not know what was going on in this soil and on this soil. Shade is a huge habitat for mosquitoes, which are a large problem here in New York. So one, I can see that this area here that's clear, you won't have to really worry about mosquitoes. That's fabulous. That's already like one problem checkmarked, gone. The soil cannot be that terrible if you've got this much growth in it, whether it's trees, whether it's weeds. I love having a wildlife-friendly urban habitat in the middle of a city. It speaks well of the overall good health of the area.
I would buy a bunch of seed packets of a bunch of vegetables and everything, and I would actually plant them and start handing them out to people.
Our children are so unhealthy. We know for sure that this is going to be the first generation that does not outlive their parents. Childhood obesity is a huge problem. In New York, it's a food desert.
My daddy was a farmer. Mama was a farmer's wife. And by the time that I turned 10 years old, I knew the farmer's life. Fetching water before sunrise, milk the goats and feed the hens. And in the evening before supper time, I'd do it all again.
When I look at nutrition, it really needs to be one, availability. And so what we have found is that if you put out a bowl of fruits and vegetables alongside of a bowl of chips and pretzels, the children will absolutely go to the fruits and vegetables first.
Does the cabbage sound squishy or crunchy? Crunchy, right. And you know, that's one thing about vegetables that we can eat when they haven't been cooked. They have the most content of all of the good vitamins and minerals because they don't have to be cooked in water.
It's just not available to our students, and a lot of times it wasn't available to their parents. And so now this becomes generational. And so what we're trying to do with nutrition is if we educate the children on, okay, here's the, not just eat an apple, but here's the value of the apple, or let's grow an apple. And now we're taking that from our garden, they participated in that, care of that. All of a sudden, they're going to always eat an apple, and they're going to always look for an apple. And I thought one of the things that was amazing to me is we started Hope Street a year ago. And this year we had 5 parents start their own garden. And I thought it would happen, but I never thought it would happen in 1 year. And they're taking pictures and showing me. So now we know that in those families, we have truly affected change. And now they don't have to come to Lincoln or to Hope Street to get a tomato. They can go in their backyard and get a tomato.
I'm thinking that it's actually really nice for them to actually try to make a garden and a farm in the city because there's not so many of those around. because you see that there's all these things growing, and usually I've never seen this before. All I usually see is we see gardens, but they're not as big as this, and they're actually trying to make a farm. Like, that is crazy, and I actually am really glad that Miss Annie and the people wanted this to be for us, because they're just being really nice, and we got all this food that we're gonna get when it all grows. We're gonna take out the food like we did last year. I got a huge cantaloupe and I had it in my hand, and I got a pomegranate.
I grew up in this valley.
These children who are coming up, right, through our school, through our garden, that's what they're going to remember. I went to a school that gave me fresh fruits and vegetables. I went to a school that had a garden. I went to a school that we learned outside. I spent my summers there, and I went swimming, or whatever the expectation is. And then all of a sudden they come up to school and that school doesn't have it. They're like, well, where's your garden? Where's my cooking class? Where's my child's nutrition class? Where's their exercise 3 times a day? Where's their, in between classrooms, they're doing this or playing or they're dancing or they're singing or whatever. That becomes the expectation. And then all of a sudden, we've made a true movement.
Lettuce, orange, tomatoes, here.
That's watermelon.
What is that? Squash. You got some over here too.
I see some onions.
Where you see onion at? Tell me where you see onion.
Look, right there is squash and cantaloupe. Hey, where's that corn?
Granary Road.
Got it.
It works much better to work with hair that's not freshly washed. Even if it has product in and it's a little, what you call dirty hair. Okay, my name is Susan Taylor, and I am the makeup artist, wig, and hair designer for the shows at York Willow Theater. Grease is an old show, and a lot of the actors, even though they're very young, when they have an idea that they want to audition, they will research or they'll watch the movie. If not, a lot of times I will have a laptop in here and I will have the movie playing or whatever particular production the director has in his mind, his vision. And then they will actually sit here and watch it as I do their hair. I go out after the show, and it's not about me. I just love hearing what they say, how the performance was, especially when they say, I've seen it on Broadway and this was better than Broadway. Like, that's the best thing you can hear for everyone. How well the cast did, the costumes. I mean, I don't have anything to do with the costumes, but without hair, makeup, and costumes, I just can't even relate to that.
Originally, it was just me, the acoustic, and the whole thought of the Wayfarer experiment was to have a band that, they can come and go, there's no obligations, there's no trouble, no pressure. So you could have a different violinist every night or a different banjo player, and just keep it switched up, and then people never know what's coming,
In quite a unique fashion. In the stars up above, they glisten as an almost reluctant but rather profound and rare reaction.
It's fantastic. It is different from the first show I saw. They've come so far. But I'm just glad to be here in the last night of play.
Bjorn, sorry you're leaving York. Glad for you that you're moving on, moving up, and you're going to do well. You're going to kill them down there. Keep playing from the heart. That's where it comes from.
You get a piss straight before you lose your damn head. Well, every day, you know, I try to get around from West Perry down. I've been looking so hard and now I know right.
I think the rawness of it, really. It's just, it kind of hits you right here.
This is my band. Bjorn's going to New Orleans. I wish him all the best of the luck. All the best luck in the world to Bjorn. And Robin's going to be here. And Robin, if anybody could blow up a violin, it's Robin. Robin saw that thing in half. So I tell you, this band is just smoking hot. And anybody that's here is being dealt a real pleasure. Because this band is it.
Look at me!
We've done quite a bit in Pennsylvania, and York itself has been the best for us. But unfortunately, you know, you can't totally just base your career off of one town, you know, and these other towns, they're all over the place for us. You know, this is the one place we can come to and pack a house like Bistro 19 all night long, and you know, there's a lot of love here. That's what's important. We'll be coming back, you know, definitely be back here.
I'm sad that they're not going to be around anymore, but I'm very excited that they're moving on and hopefully moving up, and hopefully they'll come back and play again when they're super uber famous.
outside, I keep him locked in his cage. You should hear him scream, stay away! All day, always next to me. So, come on, my darling, let me hold you tight. There's a new world order tonight. There's a full moon rising up in the sky. I'm the howl, gonna scratch till it's okay bright. There's a new world and water tonight. There's a full moon rising up in the sky. I'm gonna howl, gonna scratch just to instigate fright. Thank you all so very much for singing along.
No, don't let the culture die, you know. I want to come back here and be more impressed with this place than I am with New Orleans. You know, York especially, you guys have a wonderful music scene. It's so supportive, and you know, at first it's almost overwhelming. You get to a place and everybody's screaming at you. You don't know any of them. Then it grows into a real family. You know. Don't lose that, because this is one place in Pennsylvania that has that, and it's dying in a lot of other places. So my farewell message would be, keep up the culture, and I'll be back to enjoy it.
Now, you may or may not have been aware of this, but it is Hispanic Heritage Month. That's a nationwide movement, and of course, because they had to keep it nice and quirky, it's from September 15th to October 15th. So Hispanic Heritage Month actually bridges 2 months, but what it does is give us as a country plenty of time to celebrate a wonderful part of the heritage and culture of the people who live and who make up a significant and growing part of our population. Now, yes, we are traditionally an art show, but we are an arts and cultural showcase. And if you just look around the streets in York, you cannot deny that our Hispanic and our Latino friends and neighbors are a huge influence and a huge part of our cultural scene. And frankly, there's a lot going on that we don't necessarily know about. So I brought a special guest today here to the show. He actually is York City's Latino Affairs Coordinator. Nate Rivera is the voice in the community for getting our Latino neighbors as part of the dialogue, for helping all of the people of York City start working together to bring the arts and the cultural scene into one united voice, which says this is who York is. So in terms of what's going on, what do you feel like people have no idea is really going on in York in terms of what's going on in the Hispanic community?
Well, one of the things that you had kind of mentioned there is that, you know, we are growing in the community. It's a big number. And a lot of people are aware of that when they do come in the city and they see some of these new businesses that they're coming up. But they're not aware of the challenges that people face every day moving into an area where they don't speak English, and what are those challenges look like. So those are the things that me working in city government is really working with those people to kind of address those challenges and kind of see how can I make it a little bit better for them to incorporate themselves in the city, and what services we in the city provides to them so they can also take advantage of.
Cool. So now for people that are not Latino, what can they do to help? How can they be more involved in being aware of what's going on in the Latino community, in bringing members of the Latino community into more of York's mainstream?
Well, one of the things that they could do, first of all, and it's something that's so easy, it's about understanding the culture, understanding who they are and where they come from, and understanding that it is difficult for someone to move into a place where it's only English speaking, and that with those things come challenges. If people understand that, it makes it a little bit better to say, I understand what these people are going through. I want to reach out to them. There's a lot of ways that people could reach out to people that are their neighbors, that don't speak English, that have transitional issues. But with information of knowing where the services are, who they could contact and say, hey, listen, there's a person in New York City that you could contact. Here's that name of that person. And being aware of those changes of where the services are can also be a real big factor in helping someone else's life in New York City.
And I think, this might be a somewhat controversial statement, but, that's what I do. I know there are a lot of people that have the attitude, even now in 2014, well, America's an English-speaking country. If you don't speak English, it's not our fault. And I think, my great-grandfather came over here speaking only German. And now this man was a doctor in Germany, but he comes to America and people think he is stupid because he doesn't speak good English. And he ended up working in a roundhouse in a Pennsylvania train station, doing extremely difficult physical labor just to support his family. And I say that story because a lot of, so-called American Americans, their families have the same story. They had a relative that came over less than a handful of generations ago that only spoke Italian, that spoke French, that spoke German, that is still speaking we still have grandmothers that are speaking Pennsylvania Dutch and don't want to speak English. So there's a long tradition in America of people that come here that have to learn English and are making the effort to learn English, but recognizing that it's a process and knowing that that does not mean that you are unintelligent, that you're not hardworking, that you're not incredibly well educated from wherever you came from. It just means that when you move to a new country to try to find a better life and more opportunity, there's a learning curve that has to be worked with. And all of us at some point have ancestors that had that learning curve.
That's so true. A lot of the people that come to the state from other countries are already professionals in their country. They're doctors or lawyers. I had friends that are lawyers in their countries come here and they have to take jobs that are not traditionally their own because of the language barrier. But their main focus, one of their main focus is to learn English, to be able to contribute to this country as much as they can. And also to help their kids to become more, have those benefits that we have, that sometimes we take advantage, that we disregard them, because we're Americans, And so, you said it correctly when you said, we all come from different places and we have all different languages that our parents and grandparents had, but we're fortunate they have the opportunity to come to this country and make it their own, and that's the same opportunity that they want coming to this country. So their main focus is to learn English, and a lot of people say, they're just coming here, they don't want to learn our language, and I think that's not true. People invest their time, their energy, and their money. You know how many classes are there on the web, information tools that they get to better their English. I mean, it's a market. It's $1 billion market that people to try to learn the English language, and that's another thing that goes behind the scene that people don't know. I know people that are working maybe 45, 50 hours a week, and then they go home and they cook for their kids, but then they have a little time that they spend.
They're still trying to find
English.
time on YouTube to work on their English. So now, of the culture that's developing here in York, what are some of the hot spots where people can go and I mean, my favorite restaurant in all of York, and I've said it totally unrelatedly on the show, there's a restaurant called Mi Caldero, which is the most amazing Puerto Rican food in the history of the universe. And I can just go in there and buy a whole sack of empanadillas, and I just will eat them all day long. But a lot of people don't even know that that's there. In terms of wanting to take part in the art, the music, the culture, go dancing and hear that music, have that food, actually just experience some of the culture that people are now bringing to York to increase its diversity, what would you tell people to go check out? Well,
there's a lot of different restaurants opening up around the city. And one of my favorite, Mi Caldero is one of my favorite as well. Bermuda's restaurant there on Prentice Street is one of the other restaurants that is a really nice, elegant restaurant if you want to sit down to a nice Puerto Rican cuisine. That's a place you want to go to. And there are other little small stores that are also Dominican owned that really have really good cuisine food. If you're looking for something fast to have for lunch or something. And they're mainly on Princess Street. There's some on Princess. There's some on Queen Street. There's some on King Street. So they're primarily in the city. But I encourage people, all the time that I talk to them, to go out and look at these places, go and visit, talk to the people, try the food, you'll hear music. And it's so funny. The other day I went to the Giant on West Market Street and I was shopping for something and I'm listening to Spanish music. Playing on their system, and I'm like, wow, this is great. That you have an American establishment that speaks English primarily, and now they're hyping some Spanish music for the folks that really purchased their foods there. And so we're getting the word out. People are starting to realize that York City has a really large, growing population of Latinos, and that there has to be that way of sharing information and all the uniqueness that comes along with the different cultures. And I know that my culture, the Latino culture, is one of those cultures that love to share, loves to bring information, loves to share their music, their food, we are an open culture when it comes to sharing. And one of the best things that I could tell you is that if you ever want to meet a person that is giving and sharing, that would be a Latino person.
Ooh. So you'll come back on later and you'll teach me how to dance.
Salsa, merengue, whatever you want.
Dance. All right. You're going to fix me up next episode. Well, thank you for joining us on Culture in Maine. And to all of you, I encourage you, get out and recognize that there are tons of diverse and exciting cultures that are right here in your city. You can have all the diversity you want without having to go anywhere than a few blocks over. So try a different food, listen to a different type of music, maybe speak to someone and have them teach you something in a different language. That's my PSA for today, but thank you, York City, for giving us the opportunity to have a wonderful and welcoming place for cultures and all people. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Culture in Maine. I hope you enjoyed our tour all around the county for all the fabulous stuff that we have going on here. If you'd like a little more of it, check out some of our older episodes. The artists are still fantastic. You can go to wrct.tv, or you can go to YouTube at youtube.com/White Rose Community TV, or you can email us, cultureinmaine@gmail.com, Facebook.com/Culture in Maine, and Twitter @Culture in Maine. You can get all kinds of exciting news and updates about shows, stuff that's going on, past guests, where are they now? It's all there for you. Thanks again for visiting us here on the corner of Culture in Maine, and I hope that you have a great week and that we see you right here again next time.
I'm really excited about this. I love the atmosphere, and I just want to know more about it. I see it evolving, changing, growing, and I like it.
It's fleeting. Once it happens, once a song comes out, once a poem comes out, it'll never come out the same.
Something like Culture in Maine is documenting what's going on in a way that will have that lasting staying power.
It just breeds health, growth. It's a necessity. It's a necessity.